Ensuring retention. The intervals published were great for learning languages, and I think it would be a good beginning format for the database's reiteration schedule. The database will determine what works best for you as an individual at this time and point in your life. It will learn how and the speed you learn. It will constantly reiterate previously learned material at the appropriate stages. This is important because once you have learned the information, you will probably be able to reiterate it in faster and faster playback speeds. Once you have seen and heard a book being read to you a few times, you need to pay less and less attention to retain and follow along. Some features would include preferred settings, variable playback speed, and different playback speeds for different stages of reiteration. You can play it faster and faster. Can you play that as fast as you can retain it in the background as you learn something new? If that doesn't work, what if we tried reiterating two things at different, same speeds? People will play with this, as well as other combinations, and we will track their progress. For a while, I watched a couple of hours of TV a night, and during the commercials, I would do push-ups and sit-ups. In that couple of hours of TV, I did 1,000 sit-ups and 500 push-ups. Think of how much time there really is in a day. Now, if your education was scheduled by a database that was linked to your time management calendar, let's see how much of our brain we can use. Let's see how much we can learn. The guaranteed exponential growth of the average mind alone should be enough to do this. I am not saying take up all of your free time for education. I am saying if you take the time to learn, you should learn. You should also schedule all the fun things you want to do. Parents, teachers, bosses, and the user can schedule specific education, specific information, and tasks to learn. All information automatically filtered, then the individual decides from suggested reiteration, exercise, and education schedules. Random test generator. Pulling from at least 20 times the number of test questions. Questions that must be known to pass can have many variations, and a variation will always be on any test. Let's assume for a moment that I stayed in the same house all the way through high school. I would have a new teacher every year until the 7th grade. Then I had about 7 teachers a year until I graduated. So on average, that is a total of 49 different teachers, kindergarten through graduation of high school. With the cost of textbooks and then updating textbooks alone, it should not take long to pay itself off. Then there is a waste of paper and natural resources that are good for the planet. State test topics that are deemed to be important could be reiterated so that by the time of testing the student will pass, not because they were told the questions, but because the database made sure that the student was ready to take the test before the student took the test. Set people up for success rather than failure. Teacher refers to the database for today's lesson plan and chooses from several different teaching strategies for the next scheduled lesson. Make learning fun through games and activities. Teachers cannot remember or know everything unless that teacher is a computer. The computer will remember and do everything it is told. After all, the computer will do exactly what it is told to do perfectly every time. The only times it makes mistakes is due to human error, interference, or eventual wearing of materials. I look at a computer the same way I look at an employee. If I had an employee that was capable of doing what a computer can do and does the work a computer does in direct comparison, I would fire him or her. A computer only does what we tell it. Parents, progress reports, student-teacher conferences, all of these tasks can be automated. How much of the teacher's free time is spent on these tasks? Overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated, people molding our future. With the database, you can carry a copy of your current educational record with you to school after you have backed it up and left a copy at school. When you go home, you can continue right where you left off. You can continue education in any field. You can reiterate old information. Everything you do within the educational database is stored, no matter where you are. If you move, you just take your educational record with you to your new school and start exactly where you left off. It's like having the best teacher with you at all times. Any question you have, and any time you want to learn, your teacher is there. Everything you learn is added to your reiteration schedule. One student learns faster than everyone else. One student asks so many questions that the teacher could not even finish the lesson plan for today. The teacher needs to finish the lesson plan for today, so you do not get the chance to ask your question. One student is afraid to ask questions for fear of being ridiculed. A student has an obscure question that the teacher doesn't know the answer to. How many times a day do these things happen? The love for learning is lost, or even just hindered, is unacceptable. These types of stories are far too common. The fault really lies in the system itself. It's too much power to put in any one person's hands. Put the destiny of our future in the hands of people who sometimes are just punching a clock. When you get into high school and college, some instructors end up repeating the same thing over and over each day in and day out. Just listening to the instructor, you're getting bored. There are so many bored, underpaid, underappreciated teachers out there. How long do the inspiring teachers remain inspiring? Permanently catch those inspiring teachers on video. Immortalize those teachers that make learning fun and you absorb information. This is the only thing that can come close to quenching the thirst of knowledge. Once the mind gets bored, it does not retain information as quickly. No one can know all the answers, even on one topic. Just ask Einstein, who said, "The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. The more I realize I don't know, the more I want to learn." It is this desire to learn that must never go unquenched, for every time it does, we fail. The younger the children, the more positive energy is needed to retain their attention. They need songs and games. It can be difficult to maintain the positive energy needed every day. Most teachers are able to feed off the students and turn a bad mood into a good mood. But the fact remains, everyone has a bad day. When using the database, the teacher is always in an inspiring mood. When the schools do find these inspirational teachers, they cannot keep them. The good teachers go on to teaching in private schools or corporate America. Teachers are not paid enough. Teachers need to make a true living wage. Be helpful, not hurtful. Movie and TV show.